My name is Andrea Mercado, and today me and my partners Alejandra Rojas and Danilo Alvarez will take you through this documentary, Sugarcane, Planting Process and its Effects in Valle del Cauca. Sugarcane is a widely managed crop that often plays an important part in our country's economy. In Colombia, we have a vast sugarcane cropping tradition. Therefore, our national companies have plenty of products which involve the use of sugarcane, such as candies, beverages, vinegar, cachaça, paper, and even ethanol. In the early 20th century, Cali used to be a small village. It didn't have many buildings, and the fields were wide and green. After the sugarcane crop industry began to rise, the city started to change drastically, growing significantly through the years and changing its green spaces for new buildings. What do you think about sugarcane crops?
Sugarcane crop is a massive land user. It occupies almost 80% of the prairies at Valle del Cauca, and now it is moving to Llanos Orientales.
Sugarcane is an important tradition in our country.
Sugarcane is an important tradition only at Valle del Cauca.
In Colombia, soil should be used to crop other necessary food products instead of sugarcane.
Colombia has a variety of soils across the country, different climates, altitudes that can be used to crop other food, other agricultural products.
What do you think about the environmental damage caused by sugarcane crops? Do you think there's a way to solve or reduce this?
Sugarcane crop has have been used by decades in Valle del Cauca. This caused the extraction of the same nutrients and minerals from the land. The damage could be solved by cultivating other species, other agricultural products.
Have you been able to notice the change Cali has had since the beginning of the sugarcane crops?
Cali was a little village at the early 20th century. Uh, the industrialization requires a big workforce that caused the migration from other regions to Valle del Cauca, especially Cali. This caused the growth of the city.
Even though sugarcane cropping is a tradition in our country, this kind of crop requires large amounts of water, as well as fertilizers and pesticides, to keep the crop healthy. Also, it remains on the soil all year long. These procedures and chemicals have a negative effect on the soil and the water supplies like rivers and groundwater. ¿Qué piensas acerca de la agricultura industrial?
Pues pienso que está bien hecho porque pues si antes se cultivaba en pequeñas parcelas, ahora se cultivan en grandes hectáreas, pues porque la población va creciendo y se va necesitando más comida.
¿Cómo crees que nos afecta el uso regular de químicos en los cultivos?
Pues sí nos afectan, sobre todo los químicos en las verduras, que hay que lavarlas muy bien para cocinarlas, para prepararlas porque traen mucho químico, sobre todo el tomate, la habichuela, todo lo que son verduras. Entonces pues somos conscientes pero las consumimos, sino que hay que saberlas tratar para poderlas comer.
¿Lavas tu comida antes de consumirla?
Lógico, la comida hay que lavarla cuando se va a procesar, sobre todo las legumbres, los tubérculos, que ellos siempre traen sus bichitos. Hay que lavarlo muy bien, traen tierra, traen honguitos.
Here in Valle del Cauca, we have a large amount of lands that have extremely good soil. They're considered as one of the best on earth. Here, we could plant any kind of crops. There is a huge variety of options that could lead our country to have a rich agriculture. We are very lucky to have soil categorized as high quality, having about 300,000 hectares that we are sadly wasting by letting the big enterprises use them as sugar cane cropping. 90% of these lands are being wasted on sugarcane just to make their owners earn large amounts of money that are never even invested in our country or their workers, leading to an economic crisis, lack of job opportunities, and also a lack of food, due to the fact that the few lands used to crop other products are not enough to cover our country's demand.
Sugarcane crops need large amounts of water in order for them to grow strong. These represent one of the ecological problems that are connected to this crop, because the water used comes from the nearby rivers and water sources. Apart from this, the leaching process used in the clearance of the crops ends up leaving as a result lots of chemicals and waste on the soil, thus affecting rivers and undersurface water.
Studying sugarcane cropping, we were able to see that our country isn't really paying attention to the needs of the citizens, and they're cropping sugarcane instead of growing food for our country's population.
The chemicals used in agriculture affect us exceedingly. The leaching process leaves pollution that contaminates the rivers and surface waters, and of course, our food.
After years of using land to crop sugarcane, soil becomes really acid, making it almost impossible to grow any kind of plant again. But in order to be able to do this again, companies would have to invest lots of money in organic material to make earth healthy again. But since this situation is not beneficial financially for them, sugarcane croppers sells the lands to other people, to construction. But what is the legal process for a person who wants to construct a building in Cali? If a person wants to construct a building in Cali, it's necessary to get the planning permission. What is that? It is a formal document issued by the urban curatorship, which allows building, demolishing, or changing the use of land or a building. This process consists of 3 phases: application, revision, the issue of planning permission. Let's explain those in depth. In Cali, you need to go to the urban curatorship, where the employees will guide you depending on your case. For example, if you need a house or a building, please hand over all documents required by the urban curatorship according to the National Decree number 1469 of 2010. Taking into account your construction projects or your social stratum, you need to pay some money to the urban curatorship. In this phase, urban curatorship begins by reviewing your documents you have done to them. First of all, they look if your documents or your project is in accordance with the POT, el Plan de Ordenamiento Territorial, and the NSR, la norma sismoresistente, and all the laws and regulations that currently are in force. These revisions begins the next day you have done the documents to the urban curatorship, but it's necessary that you installed in kind of billboard with the information requested by the urban curatorship. Some of the documents that the urban curatorship requests are the architectural plans, soil studies, and structural drawings. The urban curatorship accepts taking into account all the above your application to the planning permission. Then they will send to you a document called Acto de Trámite, and you need to pay some money to them. But if you don't do this in the next 30 days, then you will lose your planning permission. But Does the planning permission have any expiration date?
This question is extremely important because people who want to construct a building must to know that if they do not construct anything, then the planning permission will expire. The time limit is 36 months, with an extension of 12 months, which can be requested just once, 30 days before the expiration date.
But in our country, what are the requirements if a construction affects the environment?
Well, if a construction affects the environment of our country, then appears the Colombian's environmental regulator, ANLA, and that is a similar process that you have to do with the urban curatorship. But in this you must to present environmental studies and let to know your project to the community.
Colombia's environmental regulator, ANLA, is the government body responsible for granting or rejecting applications for licenses, permits and environmental procedures to develop projects that contribute to the country's development.